My name is Liam Matthews, and I'm 27 years old. I live in a quiet neighborhood in Portland, Oregon. It's the kind of place where people wave to each other from their driveways, and the loudest noise at night is usually the wind rustling through the trees. I work as a graphic designer, which means I often bring projects home to finish. That's exactly what I was doing on the night this happened. A night I'll never forget. It was a Friday evening, and I had the house to myself. My roommates were out of town for the weekend, leaving me with an unusually quiet house. I didn't mind. I figured it was the perfect chance to catch up on some overdue work. By 11 p.m., I was deep into a project, my laptop humming softly on the desk in my small home office. The glow from my desk lamp lit the room just enough to keep the shadows at bay. I got up to stretch my legs and walked into the living room to grab a drink from the kitchen. That's when I noticed something odd. The curtains in the living room were slightly open. I didn't remember leaving them that way. I'm usually pretty particular about keeping them closed at night. Still, I told myself it wasn't a big deal. Maybe I forgot, or maybe one of my roommates had left them like that before heading out. I pulled the curtains shut tightly and locked the front door just to be safe. As I poured myself a coffee in the kitchen, I started to feel off. It's hard to describe, but it felt like I wasn't alone. I chalked it up to my imagination. After all, I'd been staring at a screen for hours, and it was late. Back at my desk, I tried to focus on my work, but the feeling wouldn't go away. It was as if someone was watching me. I glanced over my shoulder a few times, my heart racing for no reason. The house was silent except for the occasional creak of the floorboards. I shook my head, laughing at myself for being so paranoid. I grabbed my phone to check the time, and that's when I saw it. A notification from my security camera app. The message read, "Motion detected at front door." My stomach dropped. My hand shook as I opened the app and pulled up the live footage. At first, I thought the camera had glitched because the image was blurry. But as I stared, my blood ran cold. There, standing just outside my living room window, was a man. He was wearing dark clothing, and his face was partially hidden by a hood. He wasn't moving, just standing there, staring inside. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. My mind raced. Had he seen me? Was he waiting for me to notice him? I didn't know what to do. I turned off the light in my office, hoping the darkness would make it harder for him to see me. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911, whispering as quietly as I could to the operator. I explained the situation, my voice trembling. She told me to stay on the line and not to make any noise. The minutes dragged on as I stayed crouched in the corner of my office. I could barely hear my own breathing over the pounding of my heart. I didn't dare check the camera again. I didn't want to know if he was still there. Finally, I saw red and blue lights flash through the curtains. The sound of car doors slamming was like music to my ears. I heard the officers shouting, telling someone to get on the ground. When it was safe, they knocked on the door and escorted me outside. They caught the man hiding in the bushes near the side of the house. He had a backpack with him, and when they opened it, I felt sick to my stomach. Inside were a knife, duct tape, and what looked like zip ties. One of the officers told me that based on the security footage, the man had been outside my house for hours. He'd been watching me, waiting for the right moment to break in. The open curtains. That wasn't my mistake. He had opened them earlier, probably to get a better look inside. I couldn't sleep that night, or for several nights after. Every noise made me jump. Knowing that someone had been so close, watching me, waiting to harm me, was a fear I can't put into words. Since then, I've added more locks, better cameras, and brighter outdoor lights. But no matter how secure my house feels, I can't shake the feeling that someone could be out there, watching, just like that night.